Good morning, Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Nice to see you.
Kelly, you are one of those persons that actions speaks much louder than words. You stand behind what you say. Now, you are the director of the Office for the Aging in Yonkers. Tell us, what is that about? What does that entitle?
So Office for the Aging typically, not under these circumstances, has a staff that runs 7 different reoccurring grants that come from federal and state government through the County Department of Senior Programs with the City Cash Match. We are a City of Yonkers department accountable to all of the senior citizens in Yonkers. We offer case management, transportation, home health aides. We offer support with almost anything that a senior citizen might need in navigating the challenges of growing a little bit older. We help with Medicaid applications, housing applications, SCREE applications, STAR, HEAP, paratransit. If they can't use our vans, we'll help them with paratransit applications. Literally almost anything. We also run 4 nutrition programs, 4 community centers that offer a hot lunch program. And within those programs, we offer an enormous amount of services, speakers, exercise programs, chronic disease self-management programs, diabetes self-management programs, TIPS telehealth programs, just constant support in there. And then we do home delivered meals as well.
So even though we are in a terrible situation today with the pandemic crisis, your work, it's been going on forever, long before the pandemic, long before that even came to anybody's mind. Even though you and I, we kind of young folks, like 25, 35 years old, but we never seen anything like this. And it's hard for everyone, not just in Yonkers County, state, nation, but it is especially hard for the seniors. They already have challenges. The challenges, the isolation, the loneliness. That's hard for me to come out. The food, but among all those things, what do you think is the most dramatic crisis for them? The things that they feel the most.
So every situation is so different. Everyone's case is so different. Who has support, who has family that lives away, who has family close by, who has financial means to be able to support themselves, and yet who doesn't, who has someone living with them, who doesn't. Everyone's story is so different. And I mean, of course, that goes across all age ranges. But when you're dealing with seniors, there's also a fear, especially if you're living alone and you have to try to navigate, say, a diagnosis of Parkinson's or cancer or some other ailment that now you have to try and handle all by yourself.
Isolation, they at home by themselves, and the sad thing, Kelly, is that some of them have family members. What is it that you can say that perhaps we can make the life of our seniors a little bit easier in regards to the isolation?
So typically when we're delivering our home delivered meals to our hundreds of clients, the isolation piece is broken up a little bit because they see our escort and our driver every day. That actually acts as a wellness check also. So they love seeing the escorts. They love saying hi. They love interacting with them. Sometimes they'll make them brownies, or, they have really good relationship with our escorts who are very special people themselves. But now we're not allowed to actually stop and talk to the senior. We are dropping the meals in a bag outside of their door that we have provided. We knock on the door, we step away, and we just make sure that they could pick up the meal to make sure that they're okay. Because like I said, it's a wellness check also. So if they don't answer for the meal, we go into emergency mode here. This is not typical to this crisis. This is always. And sometimes if they don't answer for the meal, that could mean that something is wrong with them inside, and we'll take care of that. But now they're not allowed to stand there and talk interact, pass back and forth anything, you know. So it's even more isolating, and it's also scary because you don't want to touch the bag or the box or the thing, you know. So my people are using gloves and masks, and they have sanitizer, and they're, you know, we're being as cautious as we can, but there's a fear. There's a fear of everything that we're doing now, just to
So,
stay healthy.
so nowadays they are not even allowed to communicate and socialize among themselves. They have just to stay in.
Yes, yes. I mean, unless they have something with their own family members, they are it's suggested that they stay inside. If they live in a building and they're going downstairs, they're touching the elevator button, they're touching their mailbox, they're touching the door handles, and they're, you know, it's almost assumable that there are people in every single building that have this COVID-19. So they stay inside. We suggest that they stay inside.
Now, Kelly, none of us can have a crystal ball that we can read what's going to happen tomorrow, and there is a second round coming. It might not be the pandemic; the numbers might go down and this might go away, but there is a consequence. There is an aftermath to this. What do you foresee that will be happening?
I think that a lot of what we're putting into place now will become the norm. Maybe not so bad as putting meals inside of a bag. Maybe we'll be able to hand it off to them again at one point. But we're putting a lot of telephone reassurance into place instead of that, you know, actual in-home assessment or communication or companionship. We're doing a lot more virtually, and we're working now on addressing the fact that many seniors aren't very technological. And so we do have a lot that are out there. I think you'd be surprised how many Zoom conferences, and we're doing telephone conference call bingo now with a lot of people. And that's actually picking up. We're doing more of that starting next week. There are programs out there. WJCS does companionship, and they do telephone reassurance, and they do mental health support over the phone. DeRote does, again, companionship, telephone reassurance, and supporting people in getting out into the community. But they also have a wonderful program called University Without Walls, where you could take classes right over the phone and be in a group. So there are a lot of things that are building. They were there to begin with, but now they're building, and we're expanding. And then we're going to be working with, we already were working with some of the students going into our centers to teach the seniors how to use their cell phones and how to use their technology, but that's going to be expanding now, and it is expanding now because a lot of what we're going to be doing moving forward is going to be virtual.
Now, how do you deal with the folks that might be suffering from mental illness, that might be disoriented? They're there into four walls, don't know what to do, get desperate. Maybe in a time of crisis, they don't even know how to, make a phone call because everything seems to be so clouded. How do you deal with those cases, Kelly?
Compassionately, just listening. A lot of times what we do with our own telephone reassurance is really just letting them get it out and talk. A lot of what the seniors are calling us when they're in that heightened state is not only their own fear, but they want to know how they can help just from being home. There must be I hear this over and over. There must be something I can do. Those poor people in the nursing homes, there must be something I can do. So they are from their homes, not only in their own fear, but fearing for everyone else, which of course is compassionate in itself. There are mental health supports out there. WJCS, I think Cluster is still maintaining their mental health supports. There's an actual interactive map on the Westchester County Department of Mental Health. They put that out. You can actually put in your zip code, and you can check off a box what you're looking for, whether it's suicidal ideation or just mental health support. There's a bunch of check boxes, and it will show you the resources in your area for those types of services. Solace House on McLean Avenue, they have suicidal support. WJCF has mental health support. There's a lot of things out there that are offered to the community.
Now, Kelly, you, for what I hear and what I see, you have an amazing team, and all that they need to be angels is grow a set of wings, and they work volunteer, or do they get paid for this?
I have 7 people in the office, and then we have 12 drivers and 12 escorts. With the office staff, we're doing an A team and a B team. Because we're grant reporters, because we're grant funded, it's a lot of reporting. So the team at home is doing the reporting, they're doing the financial paperwork, they're doing the telephone reassurance calls, they're doing the conference call bingo, while the team in the office is navigating the crisis and the case management details and all of the calls that are coming in for people that are dealing with issues at home. So yes, you're right. The team, both sides, home and in the office, are absolutely amazing. We all love what we do. We understand the value in it. I'll even say the same thing for my drivers and my escorts. They understand the importance of what they're doing, and they've stuck it out. You know, the majority of them have stuck it out. I have a couple of people filling in from DPW, but really the majority of my people continue to work.
You know, Kelly, I strongly believe that you should give the kindness that you might want to receive later on in your own lives.
Mm.
And when we posted about our interview on our page, you know, I feel bad that we had technology problems and we could not broadcast this live. But when we posted this, I saw some comments, how can I join your team? You know, I'm sure that you got overburdened now with everything that's going on and, you know, all that your team has to do. And some people wanted to be part of your team. What do they need to do?
Okay, so we are looking for drivers. Most of my drivers are senior citizens themselves. And so we've had a few issues where a couple of people have had to back out because of their own conditions. That's one of the positions that I am looking for as far as a paid position. We are using volunteers right now for a lot of the food delivery, but we have the fire department, who's fire department volunteers, and we also have the National Guard. They have been with me every single day. Moving forward, you know, I don't know how sustainable that is. I'm sure I'm going to lose the National Guard at some point, and the fire department volunteers have been fantastic, but I don't know if they're going to be doing this 365 days a week, if this is something that becomes institutionalized. Before the crisis, my pantry was for the people that came to my 4 community centers, so I was able to just hand them a bag. But now we're delivering an enormous amount of food to people's homes using the volunteers. So I would say I'm going to need some help with that. Right now, I'm very careful with the amounts of people I bring into the center because I don't want 50 people here. So, you know, we're going to be looking for volunteers, but at this moment, you know, I'm very careful with how many people we have here at a time.
So you have to be cautious of issues that I don't want to help, but at the same time do more harm than actually help.
I need
Now,
to keep my staff safe, and they need to feel safe in their space while we're here.
now, any requirements, do they have to, is that any requirements necessary, meaning do they have to own a vehicle? Do you provide with the vehicle? How does that work? So, you know, that way people can listen to this interview and say, okay, I can do this, or no, I'm excluded because I don't have the requirements.
Right. Yes, they're going to have their own vehicle. They cannot drive a volunteer is not allowed to drive a city vehicle. So when I start opening this up to other volunteers to deliver food for us, they're going to need their own vehicle.
Any particular age bracket, or does not matter?
Doesn't really matter, but
all you need is a good heart, I assume, right?
Absolutely, but you need a little bit of muscle. The boxes can get a little heavy. You know, Monday we're going to be shipping out milk, which is, you know, it could be a little bit heavier, some of the bags, but no, yeah, I have people of all ages that could do this job as long as they could get to the places.
Now, Kelly, I spoke with you. We've been working on this interview for like, I think, what, 10 years now?
Yes.
Well,
Sorry, I'm
that, no,
busy.
no, no, I was just kidding. It wasn't 10 years, just for a little while. But things happen when the time is right. And we here today. Tell me about the Alzheimer's issues among your, among those that you help. I think that it's a serious problem when you start losing your memories, when you start forgetting who is who, you start forgetting uh, who is your daughter, your son, and it impacts both sides, because I would feel extremely sad if my dad forgot who I am.
Yeah.
And so to speak with us about that for a little bit.
Okay, so just to broadly say, people call and they have Parkinson's, COPD, diabetes, cancer. They're navigating all kinds of challenges, and we'll support them in whatever they need. If they need a home health aid, and we can support them with that. If they need more than what we can offer, we'll help them with the Medicaid application so that they could get the support that they need. At this point, putting your person into a facility is a little bit scarier if they had to go into a nursing home. So more people are looking to try and support their families inside of their homes, of course. That's also challenging, because if you don't live with that person and you're out in the community, you don't want to infect the senior that you're taking care of. So how much contact you have with your family members is also very personal and depends on what they need. It's worse with Alzheimer's. I've always said that Alzheimer's in general was probably the most devastating disease to try to deal with the family member, for the reasons that you mentioned. At this time, what we're seeing with people trying to navigate their loved ones that have that have Alzheimer's, is those people have been isolated. They've been in their homes. They don't understand why they can't go out to their social adult daycare or to their community center. How come they haven't seen their aide? A lot of the aides have backed off. A lot of the families have chosen not to bring home health aides in because they don't want to risk getting their senior citizens sick. In a couple of cases, we've seen the home health aides get the senior citizen sick, which also causes issues. That's been devastating. So many scenarios. There are so many scenarios. But now, after this length of time, for those people to be in their homes, not understanding why they can't walk out the door, why they need to wash their hands so much, why they can't go do the things they can do, then it becomes a very agitated scenario with the caregiver and the senior. And we're seeing that becoming really, really challenging to work with in a lot of cases.
So Kelly, right now it's difficult to get your senior parents within an institution. Caregivers are having a problem helping those people. Kids are not trained to deal with those people. So how is that manageable? How?
It's one of those case by case, minute by minute, what can we do next to help that person? So one case scenario, we have 99-year-old client. Her daughter was her caregiver. There's a granddaughter involved, but the daughter is the caregiver. 99-year-old had Alzheimer's. The daughter got COVID. They were taking care of a Medicaid application because that person, the grandmother, needed more support than we were able to offer. So we were in the middle of doing a Medicaid application with the daughter. The daughter got COVID and passed away. Now the granddaughter has to take care of the grandmother while grieving for her mother. And it just, it's so impossible coming in mid-application. And then the grandmother had a stroke, which added on another layer of needing more help. Now she's bedbound. She's not able to do anything for herself. And just, those are the types of stories that we're getting. And it's minute by minute. Are we putting her into a hospital? Are we getting her a home health aide? Where is she in the Medicaid application? It's joining forces. And I'll say there's a lot of collaboration happening at this time. So if we call the County Department of Senior Programs, if we call Adult Protective Services, if we call the county DSS office, things are happening, or they're trying to navigate these things with us as partners. So for that case, we were able to get the apartment cleaned out to make sure that the home health aide that was coming in felt safe. We were able to get the home health aide. We were able to work on the Medicaid application. You know, it moves along, but it's literally like inch by inch. And that's just one situation out of so many.
So this is a terrible emotional roller coaster nowadays.
My case managers as well.
Yes, yes. Now, I know that you have a prior commitment and you have to leave. Now, just before we leave, Kelly, can you give us your number if somebody wants to reach out to help, needs help, needs to talk to someone? Can you share that number, maybe a number, website, whatever information you have?
So again, we're a city department, Yonkers Office for the Aging. The phone number is 377-6823. One thing that we did not talk about that I'd like to mention is just that we still do our home delivered meals program, delivering prepared meals to senior citizens. There's an assessment that goes with that. There's an in-house assessment. There's paperwork that goes along with that. It's a grant-funded program. And then we're also, so since the shelter in place, we are over 16,000 meals delivered since shelter in place with that program. And then with our, for everyone that doesn't qualify for that or doesn't want prepared meals, which is a lot of people, and working with Municipal Housing Authority and all of the other senior buildings and Feeding Westchester, we've been accepting large amounts of pantry items and then using the fire department and the National Guard to deliver that food. So food insecurity is a huge thing, but again, there's a lot of collaboration going on between WJCS and YCAP and YMCA and YWCA and all of the food pantries. We're all connected together, supporting each other with our resources and information and food. So if I have leftover onions, I'm going to send it to the next person. You know, that kind of collaboration is happening. If I have the National Guard and I'm not using them for a day, they will go to West Hab's food pantry. So there's a lot of that going on. If there are senior citizens that are in need of food, they should call here as well.
So your help, with this assessment that you just said, nowadays, how do you actually do this assessment if you cannot, it's all done by phone?
For now, it's done by phone, but we will have to go into the person's home at some point. But for now, it's over the phone. But it's a pretty, it's a significant assessment that's done over the phone.
Now, what about if anyone wants to donate anything? Let's say somebody who's watching us has some stuff that he wants to donate to help the seniors. Do you accept donation like canned goods or whatever? Do you accept any type of donations, Kelly?
I would say it's better probably just to go straight to Feeding Westchester and offer it that way, because then they can support all of the food pantries that are coming to Yonkers. But if there's anything else that people, I just received a case of diapers, adult diapers, which will be helpful. Someone else sent me a case of cat food, which is of course helpful. Then all of our clients that have cats, we could send that. We have gotten those types of things.
Thank you, Kelly. Now, Kelly, is there anything else that you might want to bring up that I forgot to ask you?
No, I would love to continue this again when we see what this all turns out to be in another month or so, after we start to open up and see what it might start to look like. I'd love to have another conversation.
Definitely. We are all looking for this thing to be over, so we can get to our lives as normal as possible, and things will not be the same. The old normal is something that it's gone. We have to create a new normal, but we're all looking forward to it. We're all looking forward for the economy to open. No one wants it closed because it hurts everyone, regardless of your political inclination. It hurts everybody. So we're looking for the best, for this thing to open. And we wish you the best. We wish you stay safe, Kelly, you and your family, and hopefully we will talk again soon. So thank you
very much. Thanks.
Take care, Kelly. Bye-bye.
Yeah.